All right, welcome to mindfulness. If you are watching this and you don't already have a snack, go ahead and grab one. I don't care what kind it is, just whatever you've got handy. I have Teddy Grahams. So I'm excited. I thought these would be kind of fun. I'm gonna yawn, excuse me. Woo. You don't get the yawns this time of day, right? And I'm not tired. It just happens. It's like a freak thing of mine. If you watch any of these videos, you're going to see that I yawn like consistently throughout them. It's just who I am. Anyway, so you got your snack, right? Go ahead and grab it. If you haven't, pause the video, go get it. I'll wait. Okay, now you got your snack. We're going to eat this mindfully, but which means don't tear into it yet. Don't try to eat it yet. Don't take a bite yet, because we're going to go this step by step, okay? Yeah, it's a thing. It's an actual thing. I got some kind of condition. All right. First, we're going to use our senses to engage with our food, okay? So you got your food. First, we're going to use the most obvious one, sight. So take your snack, whatever it is, and just turn it over in your hand and have a good look at it. I'm going to give you about 1 minute where you just stare at your snack, memorize everything that you can see on it right now, to where you could see it with your eyes closed. Okay, here we go. 1 minute, stare at every part of it. All right, so we've just looked at it. Now I want you to see if you can hear your snack. Now with mine, I have a wrapper, and so that's pretty easy. Yours, you may not be able to hear your snack, but just see if there's any noise at all involved in what you've got. And there may not be, and don't try to force it. Just see if you can make a noise with yours. All right, 2 senses down. Let's move on to smell. So if yours is wrapped, you're gonna have to unwrap it here to smell it. Don't eat it yet. I'm just gonna tear open my bag and take a little whiff. Now, if yours doesn't have a bag in it, just smell it. Now, you just took an initial smell. I want you to smell it again, but this time see if it reminds you of anything. Notice if it's a pleasant or unpleasant smell. Honestly, I enjoy these, but I'm smelling it right now, and they don't smell that great. They kind of smell like chemically. You know what I mean? Like they smell like artificial. Oh, yeah. Well, I take a moment. Yeah, interesting. So, and the thing about mindfulness is there's no right answer. It's not supposed to smell like anything. It just is. So if it smells good to you, that's valid. If you smell it and it doesn't smell that good to you, that's valid. There's no better way. It's just using your senses to bring awareness to what's going on in your world right now. And what we're putting our awareness on is our snack. And so if you're being aware of it, even if you don't like it, you're practicing mindfulness. All right, now I'm gonna take mine a little bit of a step further. If you are able to look at a piece of your snack, like a tiny piece, go for it. We'll do this one a little shorter than the 1 minute one we did earlier, but like I was able to open mine up and I've got a little Teddy Graham here. And I'm just gonna look at him. If yours, let's say you have an apple. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, that's like the worst I've ever had them. if you have like an apple or something, just find a part of the apple and look at it. So like the stem only or something like that. So let's just have a look here. I've got a little bear. He doesn't really look like a bear. He's kind of missing half an ear. Seems like he's had it kind of rough. There are little like flecks of brown and beige. Notice the color. Notice any pattern you have on your snack. There's some pattern on the back of this where I can see that they've cooked it on the back. It was laying on some kind of sheet and it had like a pattern on the sheet, and I could see that's kind of, you know, pressed into the Teddygram. Beautiful. So we've used our sight, we've used our ears to hear, and we've used our smell. So before we move further, let's think about the journey that this snack took to get to you right now. So your snack is either created from grown materials or is a grown material. And what I mean by that is I have a Teddygram. It's made from, I can tell you, soy and wheat. So originally this was a little plant that somebody had to harvest. Now, if you have like a fruit, then it wasn't cooked to make something, it just is. But let's think about, you know, if you've got something that's cooked like a cookie or a cracker or something, think about the materials that went into making that, those organic materials, those things that grew from the earth. So I've got like wheat and soy, there are eggs in this, there's milk in this. And just think about where this might have been grown, who might have grown the materials to make your snack. And then those materials had to be harvested. And for some of us, those materials had to be processed and cooked. For others, it might have just gone straight to a distributor. Farmer might have sold it to someone, and then a store bought it. So it probably traveled on a truck, traveled a long way to get to you. Let me blow your mind for a second. Unrelated. Kind of related. Onions. Do you know that most of the onions in the store that you buy are a year old? I'm not even kidding. I saw it on the internet that most of the onions that you get are a year old. So what happens is they harvest the onions, they put them in these giant silos to like sit, and they don't rot very easily. It's not like a normal vegetable that might, you know, decay or rot. They store really well as long as you keep them dry. And they pull out the old ones first to give to the stores. And so your onions that you buy at the store are probably last year onions. And the ones that they pick this year will probably not get used until next year. Now, it depends on the time of year. Sometimes they go straight to the store. It just depends on, you know, the supply and the demand. But a lot of times the onions you're eating are like a year old, which is kind of crazy. But back to our mindful thought, we had a whole journey to get there. So somebody drove it to the store. It was sitting in the store, whatever you have. And then somebody used money to buy that snack, whatever it is that you have, and bring it back to your house or wherever you are that you're watching this. Then somehow you got a hold of it. It became your snack. So for me, I went to the store, I bought this. It made its way back to my house via my car. I put it in my pantry where it sat. And then a few minutes ago, I went and grabbed it and I brought it into here. Why is it important to think about the journey that our food takes to get to us? Well, because we are American, we have this luxury of not having to think about our food very much. We can just go and get. If we want to cook something, all the supplies are ready there for us most of the time. Or we can just go drive to the fast food restaurant and get food that way. Some people have more difficulty getting food, and we respect that. And that's not what we're talking about here. That's a different situation. But for the majority of people, getting food is something you don't have to think about. In other countries, people are growing their food or they're raising the animals that end up, you know, becoming their food. So this is something that they have to think about all the time. The eggs that they eat for their breakfast came from the chicken that they've been taking care of for many months. Or the meat that they eat might have been an animal that they've cared for. And then it's just, there's more recognition of what effort goes into it. We don't think about the effort of our food. And that's important. The reason why we like to think about this, because there's nothing wrong with the way we're doing it. I'm not saying go out and make a garden. I'm not saying you need to go and raise your own chickens for eggs. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying though is when we start to think about the effort that goes into making the food that we eat, the people who buy the food, prepare the food, package the food, distribute the food, when we start thinking about that, that promotes a sense of gratitude. So we start to think about, you know what, there's a lot of people involved in making Teddy Grahams and getting those Teddy Grahams to me. And I can appreciate that system. I can appreciate those people, even though I don't know who they are, that they work hard to provide this and that they contribute to the world in this way. And that I am grateful for. It just, when we start to think about who made the food, where the food came from, we will change a lot of our relationship to the food. Then we become more mindful of what we're about to eat. What if you had to sit and think about, because I love McDonald's. Okay, I know a lot of people hate on McDonald's. I like McDonald's. And my favorite is a number 7, I think. One that comes with 2 cheeseburgers. Oh my gosh, so good. But if I had to sit there and for a minute just think about the food I was about to eat, and think about, am I nourishing my body with this food? Am I doing my body a favor by eating this? I would probably start to change how willing I was to eat the food. Not that there's anything wrong with McDonald's. However, when we start to consider our food mindfully, we may start to make some changes about what we're putting into our body. We would probably cut down on eating just because we're bored, because then we would have to mindfully consider, why am I eating this? How did this food get to me? Is this food good and healthy for my body? We start asking those questions we probably don't want to ask ourselves. Now we start to change our relationship with the food, and then also promote a sense of gratitude for the people who have made that food and gotten it to you, right? How many times have you sat down someplace and had food prepared for you and you eat it and you don't think one time about somebody had to cook that food? Me, I'm guilty of it. I never really thought when I went to school, I ate school lunch. I didn't really think about the fact that somebody got up really early and made that food. I was very quick to criticize it, but I also know now as an adult that a lot of times the food is pre-made or they have to follow a specific recipe. And some of these people really enjoy their jobs and like it. And by me volunteering that opinion, I'm not really considering the fact that, I don't have to like the food, but somebody did put effort into it. Somebody tried and made this food for me, and I should be grateful for it. Even if I don't like it, that doesn't mean I can't show gratitude for it. So that's the big thing, is we start to consider the relationship we have with our food, how the food got to you. A lot of people, will bless a food or say a grace before they eat. I know a guy, and every time he starts a meal, he says this. He says, "Are we grateful? Do we know where it came from?" And I love that because I think that's very mindful. It's not a specific religious blessing, which I know some people prefer theirs to be more faith-based. Great, good. His is more open-ended. I really like it because it really does cause us to reflect on, are we grateful for this food? Do we know where it came from? And it's nice. It promotes thought. It promotes a moment of, oh, where did this food come from? Somebody made it for me. Somebody bought it for me. Somebody grew it for me. So that's what happened here. This Teddy Graham. I mean, I never thought I would think about Teddy Graham this hard, but here we are. Touch. Sorry, I was getting my senses all confused. Let's go ahead and touch our snack. So think about it. Hold it in your hand. Think about the weight of it. Feel the texture of it. If it's rough or smooth. Think of the shape. Maybe feel the edges of it. The temperature of it. If it's warm because you've been holding it, or if it's cold because it's a cold snack. Whatever. Just really feel it. Awesome. And the best one, we're going to eat it. But here's the thing. I'm going to have you take a bite of it. I want you to hold that bite in your mouth, okay? Don't swallow it yet. Here we go. Think about what that feels like, what that tastes like. pleasant or unpleasant. And you can swallow it. Interesting, right? I eat these things all the time, and I'm just not realizing I don't really like the taste of them. But I've been eating them mindlessly. I've just been grabbing them and shoving them in my mouth because I'm hungry, or I think I'm hungry. I'm just sitting with the taste of it. I don't really like them that much. I like regular Teddy Grahams, but this version, it doesn't really taste very good. It's not bad. It's just like kind of underwhelming eating it. So, what did yours taste like? Think about it. Pleasant? Unpleasant? What did you think about it? Now, here are some tips for what you can do for mindful eating. You don't have to eat all your food like that, where you go through and you're like, I want to look at it, I'm going to smell it, I'm going to listen to it. You don't have to do all that. What you can do is the very first bite of food that you have every meal, make it a mindful bite, meaning you take your bite and you eat it and just notice maybe the look of it, the smell of it, and then eat. And then really taste the food. Really think about what it tastes like. Enjoy it. And then swallow it and be done. And then you can move on. Or you can do one of those things where just to yourself, maybe you go, am I grateful for this food? Do I know where it came from? That's it. So very cool. I'm going to continue eating them, see if they get any better. Thank you for mindfully enjoying a snack with me, enduring my many yawns. Hope I didn't make you yawn too much. And I'm going to stop recording, but hope you enjoyed. Happy snack time.